to Visibility with Video, where each week we unpack the secrets of the universe when it comes to video and podcast marketing. I'm Marie Wattier, visibility strategist, and today I am joined by Josh, who is our YouTube marketing expert, and Jenny, who is our all things podcasting expert. So welcome, guys. I'm glad you're here.
Yep, glad to be here.
So today we're talking about cracking the code when it comes to getting your message across to your audience. And it really got me thinking last night. I know you guys you spent a lot of your childhood tackling the Rubik's Cube. Am I right?
Yep, definitely.
So how fast do you solve it?
Back when I was doing it lot. Back when I was doing it a lot, I think the fastest time I got was about 45 seconds.
That's way faster than my time, which is, I
just never solved it.
I don't think I've ever solved it in my life. I have played with it since I was a kid, guys. The thing's been around a long time. Okay, let me show you a clip real quick. Josh, can you hit?
Yep. Oh my God.
I'm just like, what just happened? I literally is like watching. Done.
You can't even see his hands moving.
I know. It's insane. So, when I look at that from the outside, it just makes no sense, right? And yet I feel like when we talk to our clients and things about marketing, it's kind of the same way. To them, it feels like they're tackling this Rubik's Cube, that there's some secret code they don't know how to crack. How are they going to make their content actually get where it needs to go, right? And they don't know how to crack this code. And I think that's something really fun about what we do, is we really know how to crack the code, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just got me really thinking about how I feel watching this guy and wondering, is that how people feel when they think about their marketing? And the idea of being able to ever figure it out. I mean, I admit the Rubik's Cube, when I looked at that thing, I just pretty much decided pretty quickly on that I'm never going to figure this out. I don't have what it takes to figure this out. Now, I get why Josh does. Like, I get his analytical brain. If I remember right, Josh, weren't you like mapping out plans for your sister to know how to do this thing? And
yeah. My, not Jenny, but my other sister was wanting to learn how to do it. So the way I do it is just by following a lot of formulas. So I actually wrote all of that out and helped walk her through the whole process of learning it. And it is one of those things that when you look at a Rubik's Cube at the beginning, again, it's like, how do you even start? Where do you go to solve this? What do you do? But the truth is, I think there are 5 steps that all you have to do is take the cube through these 5 steps, and then all of a sudden it's solved. No matter where the cube starts with, you do the 5 things, and it always ends up getting to the outcome. So that's what I ended up teaching my sister about. Was I just showed her, okay, if the cube is in this way, you just do this formula, and then it'll be like this. Now that it's like this, you do this formula, it'll be like this. And before you know it, the cube's solved. And at the end of the day, it's not actually that hard. It's just that you have to know what those formulas are so that you can get started in that and start to see progress towards finishing it.
I feel like you're describing the SEO around marketing, Josh.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it seems that hard. Like, there's no way to figure this out. But if you just know a few simple formulas, then it can work, right? And I'm thinking about, just like the cube, has all these different sides and colors. They got to be aligned. I feel like communicating your message to your audience, it requires that kind of approach of figuring out all the variables, the types of content, the preferred platform, the right timing, and what's really going to be relevant to your audience. So it can feel like, there's all these variables. That's how I look at a Rubik's Cube. When I just see all these colored squares, I don't know what to do with. But the truth is, if you just know a few strategies, a few things about the algorithms and how they play, then, then it can really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can create an exceptional video about your product, right? About the latest product you're putting out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're posting it on a platform where your target audience is not really active, or at a time when they're least likely to see it, then you're never going to get results, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, knowing a few of those things. You also have to understand like their needs, their preferences, their behaviors to really know how to communicate with them, right? For example, if you're a career coach and you're aiming to help people change careers, okay, you're going to need to understand the fears of the people you're talking to, right? Their goals, their dreams, and all the obstacles they're going to face in that process of where they're headed, right? And that's really going to let you tailor your message to give some real solutions. And then another one I thought about, the trial and error of it all. Okay, I did play with the Rubik's Cube a lot, but here's me, and y'all can just probably attest to the fact that I don't like to learn formulas and read manuals and read instructions.
Yeah.
So I like to mark things and hope that it all figures out well. It all ends up well, right?
Yeah, if there's something with a manual that needs to be read, she just hands it to me. Is like, Josh, do this.
So I'm always reluctant to put the time in ahead of time to learn some things that'll make the difference for me. If I had taken the time to really just let myself learn these 5 processes, whatever Josh is describing, I could have cracked this thing, no problem, right? In marketing, it's kind of a mixture of both. I mean, you do need to put some time up front to build a strategy, right? To really understand your audience, to really understand your customer journey. Where are you trying to get them from point A to point B to point C? What does that look like? You really do have to put that time in. But then you also just have to play with it. You just got to do trial and error and try a bunch of things and see what works. It doesn't mean that you do the trying and playing before you have a strategy. I believe it's more like you create a strategy, you play with it, you look at what worked and what didn't work, you revise your strategy, you play with it again, and you keep going that route. So it's more like educated play, right?
Yeah. The experimentation needs to be a part of your strategy, not separate from your strategy. Like when we first started our YouTube channel, and it's funny, when we started back then, we really thought that we knew a lot about marketing, and we thought that we had a very clear plan. But when you look at the actual content that we produced back in those early days of our business and our channel, we were just kind of producing content, mostly because I don't think we even really knew who we were producing content for. Like in the first 6 months of our business, our ideal client changed like 4 times. So we didn't know who we were really marketing
probably
for.
Another 6 or 7 times since then.
Yeah, we didn't know who we were marketing to. We didn't know what we were marketing to them. We didn't know how to market to them. We were just producing content based off of what we knew. And as we kind of progressed in our journey and created more content, we started realizing, okay, this type of content is tailoring to an audience that actually will never be able to buy from us. We don't even need to try and reach them. Instead, why don't we try creating this type of content, which is targeted at the people who could actually buy from us? And
so
we
true.
just did.
We were growing such a big following of people learning from us, but we're never going to be our clients to purchase from us. So they were always going to stay at like point 1 or 2 in the customer journey. They were never going to push past that unless their businesses really did some growing. So, we were, our targeting was off.
Yeah. And as we've progressed and created more and more content, we've honed that in a whole lot. And now it's gotten to the point where we don't produce anything without having a reason why we're producing it. We have a couple different types of content that we post on our channels, and all of them have a specific reason. They're to target a specific type of person in a specific area of their customer journey to help them with a specific thing, and all of it fits into the bigger plan. So we're still experimenting. We're still trying new things all the time, but instead of just throwing things at the wall and seeing what happens, we're actually thinking through it beforehand and saying, okay, this is the result we're wanting to get. What is something we could try that will get it there? What's a new type of video we could create that will reach these people? What's the type of video that will get these people from just knowing us to really liking and engaging with us? Things like that. So yeah, you need to be experimenting, but you also need to be experimenting smartly and thinking through the types of things you're experimenting. Are these actually going to get us to where we want? And if not, then try something else.
There's also a level of consistency that has to happen with all that, right?
Yeah.
Like there is just plain this level of, I just need to be showing up. People need to be seeing me all the time, right? Whether you have the perfect message figured out yet or not, as long as you're consistently sharing value, that's a good jumping point. While you're testing and figuring out the different strategies, the different messaging, what's going to land, what's not going to land, just being present. It's kind of, to me, like just continuing to play with that Rubik's Cube. You're going to make some progress, and who knows, you're going to maybe suddenly it's going to bounce into place, right?
Yeah.
But that's not enough to say that you're going to get there by just consistently throwing content out. You need to be strategic about what content you're throwing out. So as you learn something along your journey of, honing in this message and this targeting and all of this, be consistently doing that and evaluating results, right? And then, consistently go to the next level when you realize, oh, I'm going to try this and see if this works. But there's just an underlying level of, you just need to be out there so that people are beginning to see you as you're playing and getting all of these background SEO stuff really figured out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And just another quick tip with that, when you are experimenting, don't do very quick experiments. So, for instance, don't say, oh, this type of video might be good. Let's create one video and see how it does. Because there are so many factors that could go into the success of that video. And most of them you aren't going to know when you first start it. So you always want to give it time and say, okay, well, I want to try out this new format of video for the next 2 months. Let's try doing this format of video, see how it compares to the format that we've been doing, and then see how you want to go from there. But yeah, don't give up too quickly on experiments. And also, don't have one video that goes really good and then base your entire channel off of that. You also need to think about, okay, what did make this video successful? Let's see if we can recreate that, but don't just drop everything else because you had one video that worked really well.
Yeah, I think that applies across the board to live shows, to podcasts, to and Jenny always tells me this statistic that I'm not going to remember, but she can tell me, of how long people normally stick to like doing a podcast before they're like, okay, I don't feel like I'm getting enough traction. I'm going to shift gears and do something completely different. And what is that point?
It's before they hit 20 episodes. So if you hit 20 episodes with your podcast, you know that you're like, that it's going to be more successful than a good portion of the podcasts that are out there, because a good portion of them don't make it to 20 episodes because they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go start this podcast and it's going to be fun and I'm going to get famous. And then they get 10 episodes in and they're like, oh, I'm still getting like 5 downloads per episode. I'm just not going to do this anymore. When really they don't realize it takes longer than that to get actually good results with it.
Yeah. That kind of snowball effect.
Yeah.
So there is a science behind the strategy And I think, and there is definitely an understanding of what your customer journey is and where you want to take them. And as long as you're keeping that in mind when you are creating content, I think you're going to be a huge step forward beyond most of the people out there creating content. Right. And I think definitely this is where video comes to the rescue, because we can really think about different types of videos to create to really help guide your customers along that journey.
Yep.
And everybody, like I said, every business has a customer journey and a customer life cycle. And if you don't know yours, hop on a call with our team. Let's talk about what that might look like for you, because it's really the key to cracking the code and getting the right content created that's really going to guide them, like I said, from point A to point B, whatever those points are in your journey, to getting them to purchase, and to getting them to be lifelong fans of what you do. So I want to talk real quick about some of these points in the customer journey and what you might be doing to target them with video content, which we just happen to believe is the best way to be targeting them because it shows you, right? Your face. So let's talk about that awareness stage. This is people don't know you and you're trying to get them to know you. Can y'all think of some things that kind of videos that you can create, put out into the world that are just going to make people start to be like, oh, those are, these people talk about video marketing or whatever.
Shorts. YouTube Shorts.
Shorts and SEO optimization is a big one. SEO optimization is a big tie into this too, because that's how your videos are going to be seen by new people. It's telling the algorithm, hey, this is what this video is about. Go share it.
Yeah, and that's on multiple different platforms, right? I mean, each platform has its own way of kind of priming the pump, I guess you'd say, of, teaching it, these are the people I'm, trying to reach. These are the people that need to hear this message. And
Yeah, and something to think about with this, and this is something that it really helps you think about it in the sense of the customer journey, is that not every video has to be 100% perfect on SEO. But if you want your videos to, again, targeting who are you trying to get with this video? If you're trying to bring in a new audience, then yes, SEO optimization is very important. If your videos are highly searchable, if they're answering specific questions, getting your videos optimized in the search engine will mean that a lot of new people will be able to find your content. And that's kind of the same way that shorts are. Another thing I suggest is just right now, YouTube is sharing shorts like crazy. They really want to be the #1 short form video platform. So they are giving huge priority to shorts in their algorithm. And because of that, like when we post a short on our YouTube channel, it usually gets between like 5 to 10 times more views than any other video that we have. And almost all of those are new people that have never heard of us before. So doing things like that, that type of content is really good at reaching a completely new audience and getting them interested in your content.
Yeah, the same thing with Reels on Instagram, right?
And also just videos. Exactly. Any type of Reels, Shorts, TikToks, any of that short form video content. But also, I totally lost my train of thought there. Making videos that are answering really basic questions about
like
the niche that you're in. Yeah, like how-to videos, or like, why do we do it this way? Or but stuff that's answering very base level questions that people would ask when they're just learning about this whole field that you're in. Those can be really good because that's going to be targeting people that have no idea who you are, have no idea what you do, have no idea what any of this is, but they're kind of curious. So those types of videos are also really good for that first step.
Yeah, they're great because that's what people are typing into a search engine, right? And that's really where you want to meet those people when you're just working on that awareness. All right, second stage is when we're going to try to nudge them past awareness to start considering the fact that maybe these people might have an answer to what I'm searching for.
Mhm.
They're going to start considering you to be the expert they need to listen to. And that's huge. That's a huge step. So you're not just showing up on the edge over there. They're actually starting to maybe click on your stuff, right?
Mhm.
Maybe like your stuff. To me, this is a really good time to maybe do something else. You know, we were talking this morning, working with a client that needed to speed up their customer journey within a week or 10 days from beginning to end, from completely cold traffic to purchase. It can be done. It really can be done, but you got to put some work in. So some things to get in front of them more, to let them experience you and your expertise more is the goal here, right? So, I mean, that's when you're going to turn to a lot more educational content, maybe some webinars, and maybe
some of that longer form content.
Yeah, the podcast episodes. Great here. I mean, they're great for awareness too, but they're really great to keep people listening longer, so it warms them up.
Yeah.
Maybe some testimonials are great at this point too, right? Letting people begin to
some of that social proof.
Yeah, some of that social proof coming in. Because really that's where they're going to start hearing a story and they're going to relate to that story, and they're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, actually, that's exactly what I'm dealing with. Maybe this will help me. So you really can warm them up from point A to point B really quickly, but you got to be really intentional with the kind of content that you put out there, retargeting them with it in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, and this is where it is important to start breaking things down, because a lot of channels just create generalized content and create a lot of the same generalized content. But the type of content that gets people from not knowing you to knowing you, and the type of content that gets them from knowing you to being interested in you, they're two completely different things. And if you try to just combine them into one video, then it doesn't work very well. But if you split them up, then it makes it a lot easier, because doing a lot more long form trainings like podcasts, webinars, like you guys were saying, that's really good, because if you are able to deliver a long training, people see you as an expert. If you're on a podcast, people see you as an expert. If you provide valuable information, people see you as an expert. And when they see you as an expert, they think that you can help them. But most people who do not know you are not willing to sit through a 30-minute training. So that's why you create the quicker, more attention-grabbing content to get them to realize that you exist. And then now that they realize you exist and they're starting to get interested in you, they're more willing to listen through a longer piece of content, which will then take them from, oh yeah, I know this person too. Oh, this person's actually knows what they're talking about. They might be able to help me.
Yeah, and I still say I think video is the best thing to do this. It just is. It speeds it up so much more. That, I mean, can you imagine if they're having to read, download your ebook or read blog posts, or I cannot stress how much I believe in video to really speed up that customer just becoming acclimated to you and who you are. And either they're drawn to that, they're repelled from that, whatever, but at least you hurry up and find out, right?
Yeah.
So the next stage is that decision stage, right? So you've gotten them warmed up and you can begin to get them towards that decision stage. So this to me is a great time for either like demos of your service or product, or really personalized videos. Like if you've gotten them to opt in somehow, retarget them with something a little bit more personal. If you've gotten them to actually get on your email list, send them a video message, getting them into maybe some experiences where you're together, like a challenge or, a live webinar, a live workshop to where you're actually right there interacting with these people and you can talk to them in Zoom chat, whatever. I just think these are great ways to get them ready, really ready. They're going to get a chance to get their questions answered. Do a Q&A session. I think those are massively cool. Let them actually be heard, and then get ready to really say, okay, I'm in. You know, a lot of times that will push them over the edge. So some kind of live interaction with people, I think, is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, there's the stage after they purchase, right? A lot of people think, oh, I got them to purchase. Good. We're done. But don't you want them to purchase again and tell their neighbor to purchase, and their, you know, business partner to purchase, and their friends to purchase, and their, you know, you really can take it a step further and get them to be these lifelong fans, right? These people that refer people to you. And yeah, that are always in the comments in your groups and saying, oh, this business is amazing. They've changed my business like crazy. And, you know, that's the kind of people you want. So, you know, what are some things you can do, guys, that will really help them stick around and want to tell other people how great you are?
I think that it really comes down to being a lot more personal in your content, because generally, if someone buys from you, there are generally two things that will make them stick around. One of them is either that your offering is just absolutely incredible, completely changed their lives. They can't believe how much it helped them. Of course, if that happens, then yeah, they're going to stick around. They're going to tell people about it. The other thing is they just like you. And that is the one that's a lot easier to replicate over and over. And that's because all that you have to do to find people that like you is create content that shows off who you are. Because then when people see it, people who don't like you will stop watching your content. That's fine. You didn't want them anyways. But people who do like you will start to really engage with you. They'll start to feel like they're becoming friends with you because they kind of understand you. They understand your personality. They like how you talk, how you teach. They like the way that you do things. And so because of that, they end up building a relationship with you, a real relationship with you, not just oh, I know that person, but like, I know that person. I love this person. I love listening to their trainings. I love seeing everything that they do. And that just comes from really being real with people. So at this point is where, yeah, you would do a lot more of the kind of behind the scenes content, maybe even some like one-on-one things. Again, live content works really good for this, being able to actually engage with your audience. And just the big thing is a lot more unscripted content, a lot more not fully prepared, not fully polished, but just content that shows off who you are. And that kind of stuff will take people who already like you, and they'll just start to like you more because they're seeing more of who you are and relating with that even more.
Yeah, I feel like this is a great time where, I mean, if you've gotten them on, if they purchase and they're on your email list, maybe they're in a Facebook group for people who purchased whatever it was. But don't drop them here. You know, I really encourage you. Keep making them feel like they made the best decision of their life. Make them feel like they are a part of something. They belong now. They are invited over for Sunday dinner. They are, you know, they are part of the family. Use that kind of language with them. You know, so glad you're part of the family. And continue to offer. I mean, it doesn't take a lot for you to offer a training for people once every 3 months or something for people who have purchased something, and send out, you know, this is your exclusive opportunity. Or yeah, I love the behind the scenes idea, Josh. Sending out, you know, videos saying, hey, I'm just working behind the scenes on the next module of this. You're going to get this because you purchased this. And I just want you to know I'm really excited that you're part of the family, and excited to share this with you soon, or whatever. But continue to make them feel like part of the family, because they are going to turn from being lurkers in your audience to being active cheerleaders for other people who are considering your products. I have seen it happen. We manage so many launches and stuff, and are inside of people's Facebook groups and things like that. And the past people, you don't have to say anything to them. People who have previously purchased your program, your service, whatever, they are excited to jump in. If you've built a relationship with them, they're excited to jump in and cheer people on. Like, this changed my life. You need to jump on this. Don't even hesitate. You've got to come. Like, people will go live on your behalf, and people will. I mean, it's amazing because they feel like they're part of the family because they are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, keep in touch with them. Send them personal video messages, just being thankful for them. Send them a Thanksgiving message, out to your list of buyers. Send, whatever. But continue to let them see your face and continue. And they're going to be your biggest sales reps because you built that relationship with them. So,
yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up now, but it's just really that communicating your message effectively to your audience. It's a complex process. It requires some strategy, some strategic thinking, some real understanding your audience, some trial and error stuff, and some consistency in getting your message out there and showing up in people's feeds, right? And it is a lot like solving a Rubik's Cube. It really is. But when you do it correctly, okay, just like when this guy in 3 seconds did this and it's all fixed, it's incredibly satisfying when you see that your content landed in somebody's box at the moment when they needed it. And you get that reply, or that comment saying, oh my gosh, this was great information. I needed this, or whatever. So satisfying. So I encourage you guys, don't be overwhelmed with the marketing matrix that's out there. Get some help. If you're having trouble cracking that code, get some help. Talk to our team. We can talk about your customer journey. We can talk about, where you're headed, what your goals are, and what kind of a strategy will really work for you. And I'll make sure that we put the link to book a call with us in the comments below, or you can just comment below and say, hey, me, I want some help. Because we really geek out over this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yes.
SEO behind all this stuff is really what gets us fueled, because it's exciting when you see those gears pop into place and suddenly you got a beautifully designed Rubik's Cube that you just did with like 3 seconds. The guy did it in 3 seconds. Just still. So thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. Yeah. And I hope you have a great week. We'll talk soon.